think what makes ACLED very unique and has made it so successful is really the quality of its data collection methodology. The disaggregated data is unparalleled. Tracking conflict events by the day and the latitude and longitude at which they occur is not only incredibly informative for understanding conflict and conflict patterns and conflict trajectories, but it also makes the data very easy to integrate with other kinds of data, right? To try to understand the causes and consequences of conflict.
Methodology, the core of what methodology does, is strive for both the accuracy of the data that we code, but also strive for the highest reliability. And that is always something that you need to balance, because accuracy and detail, that comes first. We want to reflect what is happening on the ground, but you also need to synthesize all this information into standardized data points that are comparable between cases and comparable over time.
Yeah, an ACLED event is really the soul of ACLED. It's the primary data point that we collect and we're able to examine, which we typically categorize into broader categories that are then distilled down. Such as time, geography, or other details of the incident, such as the type of incident. For example, a battle or a shelling. How we qualify what an event is and how strict we are with those rules, I think sets us apart. Because we have created such a robust methodology around what an event is and how we define it, we're able to be quite consistent with what events are and have confidence that when we compare them together, they will show us trends.
The need for accuracy and methodology has been ingrained in the project from the start. It started out with a code book, and it started out with processes making sure that everything was coded in the same way in every single circumstance. Having a reliable data that is comparable between cases, comparable between countries, but also comparable over time. And this allows you to now make larger analyses on a global level that can tell you whether countries are in severe cases of crisis, whether there's trends that are comparable that we can learn from, whether there are patterns that are dissimilar or similar. So every event that ACLED produces comes from a source that has been vetted. The researcher reads the information in the reports from that source and applies their own knowledge of the local context, knowledge of previous events, and knowledge of the information environment to extract the right information to assess how well that information can be used, and also balances that information and triangulates it with other information that we have received from other sources. Then the researcher codes that according to our methodology into the data and sends it on to the next level of review, which is the manager, is an expert on the region, knows the inter-country differences, but also the differences that could occur over time, and is the guardian of making sure that countries and regions are covered consistently over time with taking the local context and peculiarities of information environments into account. After that manager has completed their review, and the data goes to another level of review, which has the global perspective, which is the methodology team that ensures that the data is globally comparable and that methodological rules are adhered to in a consistent manner across continents and across time periods. And once that check is complete, there is a final automated check to find any anomalies and standardize the data so that also for machines and softwares, the data is as structured and as standardized as possible, and therefore very interoperable. We have a very structured sourcing approach where we check the same sources every week, but we also make sure that what sources we source from are actually producing the data that we expect them to. Sometimes there are changes in editorial policies, there could be limitations in the information environment, either natural or introduced by authorities, that change how much they can report, and we want to be aware of that. We will try to address any biases that will result from those changes.
At ACLED, our data literacy efforts are really centered around trying to help people cross that bridge to download the data, look at it, and make friends with it so that they can start to understand it more. At ACLED, we have both the raw data and we also have tools that have been developed to facilitate the use of the data. So the raw data itself, is in a spreadsheet, and of course it's available for our users to just download and use it in their own way. So there's more things they can do with it if they just download the raw data. They can also get the answer through the tools that we have developed, which are on the website, such as the ACLED Explorer, the ACLED Trend Finder, CAST, and more tools to be developed in the future.
We have found the utility in having individuals doing the work, having people working in a country that they're very familiar with. They'll also understand a lot of the terms and perhaps nuance within reports that can be difficult to train into an AI platform or script. We're also able to do a lot more review and verification of the events because we have people looking at it from multiple points of view rather than a single point of view.
ACLED has grown very methodically over time to be able to continue that rigorous human coding, but now expand it globally, which is quite a feat in social sciences.